The year is 261 BCE. The Mauryan Emperor Ashoka has invaded the region of Kalinga. Witnessing the large-scale destruction and violence unleashed by his invasion, he felt great remorse. This remorse at his own brutality finally led him to convert to Buddhism and embrace ahimsa or non-violence. This is what taught to us in our school history textbooks. But is this the truth? According to the book Ashoka, The Search for India's Lost Emperor by writer and historian Charles Allen, Ashoka had become a Buddhist 4 years before the Kalinga War was fought. So Ashoka had fought the Kalinga War after he had already converted to Buddhism. Allen writes that Ashoka had become a Buddhist in 265 BCE and then conquered the region of Kalinga in a bloody war 4 years later in 261 BCE. So while Ashoka is commonly eulogized in Indian history textbooks as a great pacifist, the truth is entirely different. But wait, there is more. If Ashoka did feel genuine regret at this violent conquest of Kalinga, his repentance is not mentioned in any of his edicts in Odisha. Surely if Ashoka was genuinely remorseful, he would have bothered to apologize to the people whom he had wronged, but he doesn't. His regret is mentioned only in locations far away from Odisha, such as in his edict at Shahbazgari in northwestern Pakistan. Even the inscriptions where he expresses regret include a clear threat of violence against other groups like the forest tribes, who are told that they would be killed if they did not listen to him. This was no pacifist. Now let us turn to the Ashokavadana, a Buddhist text from the 2nd century CE. According to this text, in 274 BCE, Bindusar suddenly fell ill and died. Ashoka's elder brother and the crown prince Sushim was away fighting wars on the empire's northwestern frontiers, but he rushed back to the royal capital of Pataliputra. However, Ashoka has taken control of Pataliputra and kills Sushim on his arrival. This was followed by 4 years of civil war in which Ashoka seems to have killed all male rivals in his family and hundreds of loyalist officials. Buddhist texts mention that Ashoka spared only his brother Vitashoka, also known as Tissa. Having consolidated his power, Ashoka was finally crowned emperor in 270 BCE. The Deepavamsa and the Mahavamsa, older Buddhist texts from Sri Lanka, also corroborate the story of Ashoka having gained the throne by means of fratricidal civil war. These Buddhist texts also tell us that Ashoka actively targeted and persecuted followers of the Jain and Ajivika sects. This is perhaps the first known instance of large-scale religious persecution in Indian history and sadly would not be the last. So how is it that this emperor was so much eulogized as a pacifist in India's state-sanctioned official historical narratives? While Ashoka was rediscovered in the 19th century by colonial-era Orientalists like James Prinsep, his elevation to being Ashoka the Great is even more recent and is the result of India's political developments. India's first Prime Minister was a great admirer of Ashoka. Under Nehru, India adopted Ashokan imagery as its state symbols, be it the Sarnath lion capital or the Ashoka Chakra. Nehru, with his socialist leanings, perhaps also saw the popularization of Ashoka as a way to legitimize the creation of a socialist nanny state in India. After all, Ashoka clearly speaks of government intervention in the day-to-day lives of his subjects. He literally speaks of a nanny state in one of his inscriptions, saying that his officials were there to take care of his subjects like a nurse would take care of children. After independence, historians were encouraged to further build up the legend of Ashoka the Great in order to provide a lineage to Nehru's socialist project, and inconvenient evidence about him was simply swept under the rug. But upon a closer look, we find that Ashoka the Great was in fact not so great.